Ponzi schemes and Ponzi scammers are raising their ugly heads all over the world. Even in the Caribbean, Guyana, that is now becoming an oil-rich economy. But this being said, it is absolutely necessary for you to take every precaution, and that is to ensure that you know how to avoid these Ponzi schemes and Ponzi scammers. Today I want to talk to you about some safe investment portfolios. So perhaps in the future you can leverage these portfolios and not necessarily put your money into these risky portfolios. And the three portfolios that I want to talk about today very briefly is the S&P 500, the Vanguard Index Fund, and the REIT, what is known as Real Estate Investment Trust. Now, hear me out here. One of the smartest and best way to avoid these schemes and scammers is for you to get some skin in the game. And by this, what I mean is that you need to invest the time, the talent, and the resources to raise the lid of your financial IQ. This is what will allow you to make informed and educated decisions. This is what will give you the power to make the right decision in terms of how your hard-earned monies are invested. Outside of this, you will be at the mercy of these scams and schemers that simply wants to cash flow maximize, and they're going to cash flow maximize on your backs. So whether you are happy about that or you feel pain about that, that doesn't matter to them because their key focus is to cash flow maximize. Now, the S&P 500, this, because of how this body is structured, they have to register with the Security Exchange Commission, and they are governed by the IRS. And this is what gives the body itself the kind of safety and security mechanism that you need when you put in your cash there. The S&P 500 is a portfolio of 500 top companies in the United States of America. And you have some of the best knowledge workers for many, many years who have been working these portfolios, who understand these portfolios, understand the market, and give you a much fighter chance to get significant returns on your investment. You also have the Vanguard Index Funds. The Vanguard Index Funds is also one of the most unique platforms for you to invest your money. Why? Because this is for starters. This is for people who are now trying to get their feet wet in the investment market. And what this again does, it allows you to invest $1,000, perhaps spread out across 500 different investment portfolio or 1,000 different investment portfolio. So if 10 companies get hit, you still have 999 companies that are doing well, which guarantee that you're going to get your dividends at the end of the year. So these are portfolio that you need to understand. You need to get enough skin in the game to understand more about the commercial financial sector, the investment financial sector, smart capital markets, and how to make an informed and educated decision in terms of getting into these markets. In the absence of this, you need to get a professional financial advisor, a personal financial advisor on your side that can give you the best advice in terms of how to invest your hard-earned money. This is where we come in at Venture Capital Inc. We have a team of professional consultants to help you navigate this process. I'll talk about that later on. The last investment portfolio I want to talk about today is what we call the REIT. It's a Real Estate Investment Trust. Now, the United States Congress in 1960 passed a bill that made this possible. And what this means is that every person in America, the average Joe, can invest monies into this portfolio. The beauty that I like about a real estate investment trust is that 90%, between 80 to 90% of the profits earned is paid back into dividends. So here is where you get a very strong chance to increase your annual disposable income. Again, these institutions are backed by the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission, and they are regulated by the IRS, which is the Internal Revenue Code that governs how that whole system operates. I know that many of you might be saying that these are American portfolios, and how are you going to get there to invest in it? The same reality is this. The Ponzi schemes and the Ponzi scammers are supposedly using these international platforms to cash flow, and they make you a good promise. Now, instead of you going through the Ponzi scheme, you can position yourself in that position of strength where perhaps you can make some of these investments yourself. Now, two things are stuck up against you. One is bad, one is good. Now, first one. To make investment in most of these platforms, you need something that we call a SSN, which is a social security number. And in the absence of having that social security number, again, you have to go through an agent to make your investment. That carries risk in some cases. But the solution to that problem is for you to take out a merchant account with a merchant bank. And that merchant bank most likely will be the bank that can trade on the global stock exchange market. And once you know your portfolio, you can advise them to make a purchase here. Remember, the merchant bank may not be the person investing your money. They're just facilitating that process. So again, you need to get the skin in the game where your financial intelligence IQ is very high, and you're working with your professional financial advisor, your personal financial advisor, that can really help you to make informed and educated decisions in terms of how to invest your hard-earned dollars. These are portfolios that I really love. I want to talk a little bit more about the REIT and some of the benefits it can bring to businesses. Now, having a REIT, taking out a REIT for an entrepreneur, it's a very unique way of raising capital, because here is where you set up a REIT and you get hundreds of persons, thousands of persons who are invested in their REIT, and you can either develop two portfolios. You can invest in the equity REIT, or you can invest in the mortgage REIT. And when we look at the equity REIT portfolios, they are very dynamic and they provide tremendous opportunities for cash flow maximization. You need to know that this kind of education is very necessary. The mortgage REIT is also a very unique portfolio to invest in. So one, it helps a businessman to raise much needed capital. Two, it gives the entrepreneur capital leverage and not necessarily have to worry about high interest rates. Yes, you have to pay out the dividends, but with all of this, there's tremendous leverage that when you come into one of our financial intelligence training program, we will walk you through all of the benefits, some of the additional benefits that you can gain leveraging these markets. Another benefit that we can look at here is setting up a REIT brings benefit to all stakeholders. It brings benefit to the manager of the portfolios and the owners of the portfolios, which are the investors. And the manager get to make a name for herself, get to build credibility, get to leverage this against other cash flow platforms, and the owners of the portfolios get to cash out in this because you get to walk with between 80 to 90% of the profits of the REIT. These are things that we have to start talking about in developing economy that can really help to change the financial intelligence landscape for people. It's important for people to recognize that based on the socio-economic factors relating to income and the income equity, we have over 55% of our population that is in an income bracket that perhaps will keep them there for a long time, perhaps for the rest of their lives. So understanding some of these investment portfolios and bringing some of these investment portfolios to the people of developing economy is a smart way of really helping them to create residual income and passive income cash flow that can speak to things like early retirement, that can speak to things like capital for it to invest in personal development, capital to invest in children college funds, capital where you have a smart investment portfolio, capital that can be leveraged as emergency account, capital that can be used for all-inclusive family tour. The dialogue surrounding investment portfolios is right, it's now. Venture Capital Inc., we are already positioning ourselves to become one of the lead players in terms of providing financial intelligence information that can literally change the landscape of the financial reality of people across the world. So I trust that you find this information useful, and you need to do everything to avoid the schemes and scammers, and the best way of doing so is for you to get some skin in the game and ensure that you're investing your time, your talent, and resources to raise your financial IQ. The three smart investment portfolios that we looked at today is the S&P 500, we look at the Vanguard Index Funds, and we look at the REIT Real Estate Investment Trust. All of these units are backed by the SEC and the IRS, which gives you the protection that you need, that your investments are not a risky investment, but it comes with a fair degree of protection. So my name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm a multiple best-selling author for several books, including Billionaire Codes and Manager's Toolkit. Remember, if you are looking at this program for the first time and you have never subscribed to this program and you find the content interesting, I want to encourage you to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to this program. Share it to as much people as possible. Our mission is to really reach, connect with people and really educate people, and so people can experience a better quality of life. Be blessed, and see you on the other side.